no.
What
Everything's
happened?
crazy. I pressed the wrong button.
I'm not surprised to be here, but I am surprised that our intro music started again.
I know. That's because I pressed the wrong button. I failed you. Oh, also, bubbing is Chris DeBona.
Hi, it's Chris.
You
How
bring
are
the you bring the bub.
It's true.
How we doing? How was Halloween for everybody?
It was good. You know, we had steak. So yeah.
My Halloween. I said this to you, and I think you guys saw this in the channel, but we've never had a trick or treater like ever. We live on a dead end, and the only time we've ever had trick or treaters is when like friends of ours swing by with their kids to show their kids in their costumes. So I'm in the bathroom at like 6:30, 6:45 last night, and the doorbell rings, and I hear a trick or treat, and I'm like, oh crap, I am on the bathroom. So I quick lean out from my bathroom, and I can see my TV, which has the camera on the front door, and I look, and it looks remarkably, Rob, like a friend of ours, the wife of our favorite tree chopping friend. And so my first thought was just like, well, that's a little weird, but they live really close, and they might have just swung by to show off their kids' costumes. So I quick hurry up and go out, but we have no candy, like none, like nothing, because we have never had a trick or treater in 5 or 6 years, and I feel bad because there's 3 like 5-year-old.
You have like
kids.
an apple? You could give them apples.
Well, they're all full of razor blades and fentanyl.
That's a conspiracy by the candy lobby
to sell less candy.
You didn't go full cone heads and just fry them up some eggs and give them some beer or something.
Yeah, right.
You know, just
Kathleen actually shared with me.
We are celebrating Halloween.
Kathleen shared with me a picture of a bowl of scrambled eggs, and the caption was just like, everybody's allowed 1 handful of scrambled eggs at my house. So yeah, I get there, and there's like 3 little kids and like 9 or 10 adults, none of whom I know. But I assume that they're the new family that moved in down the street, and so they would not know that nobody trick-or-treats in this part of the neighborhood, because if you go north 2 streets, the houses are really dense. And that's where all the kids go. It's like really high efficiency trick-or-treating. So I finally find some candy. I stole some candy actually from my kids' stash because they had some that the bus driver had given them. And I'm feeling really terrible.
Bus driver candy, but you don't want to give them apples. Okay. Sure.
Right. So they leave, and then Kat comes out, and she's like, oh no, every year 1 kid comes trick-or-treating to our house. He's the last kid. He comes at like 1 minute before. He comes like 1 minute before like 7:30 or whatever, when the official start time is done. And Kat always gives him.
You have an official like state mandated Halloween start time and end
No, I heard about this weekend. It's not state mandated or anything, but like lots of neighborhoods, I guess, have.
I thought Michigan was like a live for your die type state, man.
No, this is we have a 7:30 stop time in our neighborhood. And I don't know
when we have to protect our children.
Right. From the fentanyl. So yeah, she's like
rainbow M&M fentanyl. Yeah.
So we ran upstairs, and she had a stash of candy in her office, because she always has a stash of candy because she's my wife. And we loaded up, and it turns out, no, she always has candy, because every year this one kid, the same kid, has been coming here at like 7:27.
Hello, Randy.
And she always lets him basically just however much he can fit in his hands, he just grabs.
He's a 9-year-old named Gary.
Well, it sounds like the start of an urban legend,
right?
To tell you the truth. Right?
Come on in for my candy, little boy.
It started when we had just moved in, and now it's 10 years later, but he hasn't aged.
It could be. No, he's aged.
So yeah, you can open the door and hand candy out before 7:30, but after 7:30, things get dicey.
Yeah, it's like Gremlins. They turn into teenagers or something.
Yeah. Well, this kid is
pay for your house.
This kid is clearly like in the 15-year-old range. So like at the maybe it's time to knock off.
His time.
Yeah. Like my 14-year-old last year and my now 15-year-old did not trick or treat, but my 13-year-old went this year, and this might be his last year. I doubt it.
So I live in a uncompleted neighborhood in the middle of the woods, across from a lake,
sticks and wires sticking out of the ground,
from a lake in a firing range. So anyone that would come to my house for trick-or-treating, I mean, you could easily just hand them ammunition or a lure.
Is this the firing range that's also a water park on the other side of the highway that I heard about? out there? I
Yeah.
love the idea that you all have a firing range, with like skeet and all the rest, and then you've got a bunch of kids, and they're like, "Ow, what was that? Oh, lead shot. It's fine."
I like that Rob's house just sometimes has people blowing up tannerite next door.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what they
seriously?
do
You've
over
got people
there.
blowing up tannerite next door?
Yeah, at the firing range across the
Oh,
street.
well, it's the
They
firing range.
Yeah.
they
Will they
set it
allow
out on a
tannerite at firing ranges in
they
Michigan?
set it out on a they have a firing range and some property, so they will set them out on rafts onto the lake or near the
Okay.
lake
Okay.
and blow them up out there,
Wow.
which
I
you know,
mean, you gotta
is
find it
good for
somewhere
the
you can
fish.
find it. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Fish love
Fish love
explosions.
concussions. It's
Yeah.
what they love, and it's not like those things get amplified through water. So
Right.
Well, this is the thing about concussed fish weigh a little more because they don't know how to
right,
process
yeah,
lead
yeah.
weights. So,
Right. It's not part of their digestive function. Well,
Yeah.
let's see. We have on the list the IP addresses as spoils of war, and I just thought this was a wild story that I had not particularly considered. But this is in the context of the stuff going on in Ukraine these days. They're talking about how nations have large blocks of IP addresses, and you could easily see a situation where those which are now essentially gone, they're now a relatively scarce commodity. You could see them being, I'm not going to say that that's like, we're taking over your land for your IP addresses, but like that is certainly something that would have value to people, and
Sure.
could become part of it.
I mean, probably first and foremost, people are probably looking for, water, food, and shelter,
Right.
and maybe safety. And
I don't know.
then down the line, IP addresses probably, for sure.
Well, and also like having IP addresses allows you to communicate. So not
Correct.
having them might cripple your communications infrastructure and be a part of your defenses essentially. But this was just the story here was just about like putting procedures in place to lock blocks of IPs in situations like this so that that sort of thing doesn't happen. And I was like, wow, if you had told me 20, 30 years ago when, we're getting, like back when you could go just get a block of IPs and it wasn't like a big deal, that people would actually be having legitimate conversations about them being a spoil of war. That's wild.
Yeah, it's really something. Yeah, I wonder what that right meeting was like. Like, what are they gonna do? Because the right answer is just move them all to IPv6 and forget about it, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
It'll be a
Well, I mean,
decade or
I was
more.
more thinking like the TLDs when I first saw this.
Well,
It's
I
like,
would
yeah,
too.
IP address blocks are valuable. Don't get me wrong, but I was like, what about the TLDs for .uk rain? UR, what's their Ukraine?
But I would also imagine that in a, let's say,
.UA. Okay.
in a frantic time of war, even if you couldn't take control of a national DNS, you could, if you could get their IP addresses, you could subvert that way. You could silently. I mean, it'd be tricky, but who knows?
I mean, I'm guessing. So the Russians invade. They come to Crimea. They go to the ISPs and say these IP addresses are now, and it's like, okay, so then they do an IP block advertisement. Well, I guess they wouldn't. They would just take it and administer it. But then for Ukraine to take them back, they would have to petition RIPE or Aaron to have them be the authoritative source of the IP block. Yeah, I'd have to look into this.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And I was just interested in this, like, this is a new-ish kind of problem that I've never really thought about before.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating, really.
It's weird how, as we get older, the virtual becomes more valuable than the physical in a lot of cases. Because yeah, you're right. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You just need your food, water, shelter first, but information, man.
Food, water, shelter, bullets, rifle,
right,
grenade, IP address.
You can do a lot with bullets,
and then like nine or six more levels. You got, I guess, Twitter.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that was the other thing that I figured we could burn some time on this morning. If you guys have been following all the various
Well, let's
Elon
get through
Musk.
the other
All
stories, and
right,
then we can make fun
leave
of
it.
Elon Musk for a few
Leave,
minutes.
leave the Elon Musk time until you have to leave. Well, we have the follow up on our ongoing fishing stories about a man breaking a fishing record using a Barbie fishing pole.
Is there like a
Um,
Barbie fishing pole record, or just a fishing
so
record broken with a Barbie
I,
pole?
I was actually thinking about this because, so on the boat back when we had standards on boat night, the
Back
deal
when we
was,
fished.
yeah, the deal was we would have to at least catch one fish, so you could have a beer and relax for the rest of the
Yeah,
night,
yeah.
right? So that we actually were doing something other than just going out on the water and screwing around for 4
Complaining
hours.
about our
Complaining on a
wives.
boat.
Right, right.
I think
So
the Navajo would be, what's the Navajo for boat? You keep talking. I'm gonna look this up.
so for the people who would forget to bring their fishing pole, we kept what we called shame poles on the boat. We had a little toy GI Joe one, and I think a Barbie pole.
Yeah, I think so too.
And those were if you forgot your fishing pole, I had an extra one for you, but it was a kid's pole that you had to use, right? And but we have caught some fairly decent sized fish on these
Totally.
poles. And this guy right here, this story is basically about that. This guy in particular, they caught a 21-pound catfish on this little teeny Barbie pole.
That's a
You
doozy.
know, the fish is way bigger than the pole. And then they have stories about other folks. And I thought they should really make this a category in
Yeah.
fishing because they have ultralight tackle categories and stuff like that. But like those poles not only are little, but they're not particularly well made. You
No.
know, it's not like a fine craftsman put together this awesome fly reel and pole for you that you can haul in a giant king salmon with. I mean, this is the cheapest materials available with the cheapest line available, and it's amazing the size of some of the fish that people are catching on these little kid poles. So anyway, I
Pretty
thought
neat.
this was interesting because it was, something that we used to hand out as a joke on the boat, but also they should really make this a category for records caught on a child's pole.
Right. I always liked fishing with the little poles, not necessarily the Shame Joe pole, but the little micro ultra light poles that are really short. They're
Mhm.
more fun. Even if you catch, a little 3-pound fish, it feels like you're fighting something.
Yeah.
But
Okay, I found the Navajo words for it's biat ni bitsin tasiniara, which means heroes complaining on a boat. I've got it right.
well, Rob, that's us, right?
Right. All right. Yeah, we'll have to get that carved into one of the pontoons.
Right?
Tuesday
Carefully.
night.
Carefully.
Very
carved.
careful.
Pay $30 to park, and then
I don't know. So
take
can
the
I
boat
just
30
say,
feet away from the dock.
I just think this is in some ways an adorable picture.
It
I mean, look at
is.
this guy. Look at this guy's face, and
I
he's got his little kid, his
I feel a little
granddaughter
bad for
there,
the
and
granddaughter because clearly that catfish is going to be drooling goo on her head because
oh yeah, no,
Oh,
catfish
no.
are
that's part of it.
gross.
That's
Yeah,
part of it.
I mean, I don't know. Looking at them, I don't know if they're having a good time, but it's still kind of adorable.
Well, that
You know, like you
He's
could
happy.
read their grimaces as being pretty
yeah.
unhappy,
He's happy.
or they're the happiest granddad grandkid picture I've seen in a long time. It's like
Mhm.
it's like Schrodinger's picture. You know,
Yeah, that is going to be
this is the blue
centerpiece at
rain dress
centerpiece at her wedding
part,
will be the picture.
right?
Right.
Oh, that'd be
For sure.
adorable.
Yeah.
For sure.
You know, he'll give her away. It's like, I've loved my granddaughter since the day she was born,
Yeah.
and we caught
Yeah.
that damn big catfish with that Barbie fishing rod.
Yeah, that
That-
picture is
She was
prominently
wearing a
placed on the big
panda
board.
shirt. I mean,
That
she's wearing a
proved to
panda
me
shirt,
she could accomplish anything she wanted to in this life.
right?
Yada yada yada.
I mean,
right?
imagine catching the biggest catfish with the Barbie fishing rod when she was merely 3 years old.
And I definitely didn't help.
Yeah,
Because that
I
fish
might
weighs
help
as
a
much as
little
her.
bit, but she didn't need too much help. She
Hooked it. I just
she
reeled
was
it.
a natural. Just like she hooked that catfish, she hooked Todd over here. Todd, come on out. You know,
Oh, you're
Laugh
pre-toasting.
break, right?
laugh break.
Yep. Pause for applause.
Then best man comes up, is like, well, I ain't no catfish, but I'll do my best.
I catfished that girl good. All right. So we've got
either adorable or terrible.
to transfer the conversation from fine fishing to fine art. Somebody discovered that a
love this
Mondrian painting
story.
has been hanging upside down for 75 years, which just tickles me.
Like,
I like
did
this.
not-
Incorrect. Correct.
Oh,
I
Incorrect.
did not read
Correct.
the story, but how did they figure it out? Like,
that's what I want to know.
someone's like, oh, by
Let's
the
see.
way, hanging that upside down, you know.
Oh, he walked up to it, looked at it, and said, "Oh, it's so ugly right now. It's so wrong. I can just tell."
I'm 100% certain the picture is the wrong way around. He could be wrong though.
The thickening of
that's
the
what I'm
grid
saying.
is
Oh
the
wait.
sky.
There's a photograph. Yeah.
Now he says that the thickening lines represent the sky.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you could tell. All
Possible
right then.
to say.
Cool.
Wow.
That's why it's important to have on your art this side up. If
Yeah.
there's not a face in it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, a
Yeah.
little arrow on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Da Vinci put arrows in all of his paintings.
All of them,
Oh,
if
for
you
sure.
look close enough.
Yeah.
Sure.
And a copy of the Constitution on the back of them.
Because for a long time they had the Last Supper upside down to show
True.
Mhm.
you know, his power and stuff.
That was
And
weird. Yeah, Jackson Pollock's paintings, you know, he would just mess with you. Like he'd put it on random directions just to see if you were paying attention.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's what they said about him.
Yep. That was definitely it, because he was a stable individual. Well, let's see. We've got the largest jigsaw puzzle for sale at Costco.
Yeah, what's this about?
Well,
It's a
if
very
you've
large jigsaw puzzle.
it's 8 feet long, 29 feet wide, and has 60,000 pieces.
How much?
And I have no idea. I just
I'm going to the website.
$600.
It's too much for a joke.
Wow, that is a big one.
Yeah. This just reminds me of a kid. We would go to the public library a lot. For our younger viewers, that's where you had things called books that you would read.
Yep.
You didn't have to plug them in.
What's
so
is that like a Kindle?
Yep.
A little bit.
It's like an acoustic Kindle.
But made out of trees. It's really weird.
Yeah.
So anyway, all the time there would be a table of a bunch of old people putting together a jigsaw puzzle, and I never saw any of them smile.
Was this at Herrick?
Yes, they were all like the catfish puzzle people. They were all there just existing, putting together a puzzle, and I always
Gotta
thought
do something.
this is the saddest thing ever. I'm never going to do a puzzle ever in my life. And yeah, so and here we are. Now Costco has made my worst nightmare.
Well, it's funny you should mention that because crossword puzzles beat video games in slowing memory loss. So there's an important edge to this, you know.
Well, I'd rather stick to puzzles
I wonder
than
if
crossword puzzles, I guess.
I wonder if puzzles are like the mid-range. Like if you want to retain most of the things that matter to you, but not like the small stuff, you do puzzles as opposed to, Call of Duty or something.
There's actually you see a new study about once a week about the effects of video games on kids' cognition, and currently it's generally positive.
Yeah, video games are coming ahead.
Yep, they're
just
coming
like
out
we
ahead.
Always knew they might.
It's totally possible.
Totally possible. It's possible.
Rob, at the Herrick Library as a child, do you recall the staircase that like led up to the upstairs section? Yep. I was never allowed up there.
What is this? What is this word? Allowed.
I always went with my parents.
So did I.
All right, my parents had a lot of rules.
Was the dirty movies up there?
I don't know what was up there. That's why I was asking.
There was mostly it was like sort of reference stuff, but it was almost all adult stuff up there.
Adult,
not like porn, but adult novels, that sort of thing.
Like Dan Brown novels.
Like pretty much the whole downstairs was either like they had the big kids section and then like a section of mostly reference materials. Where like
now they're upstairs. All those
now the adult fiction stuff was all upstairs.
Is that library still there?
I believe so. Huh. It's a lot bigger now, though.
Wow.
Was it washed away in the great bearded storm of 2021?
It was actually where I saw The Hobbit for the first time. Because remember in the summer
they used to show movies.
They used to show movies there. Yeah.
So I saw the Jungle Book there.
Just for our listeners.
Me too. Yeah.
Rob Roseboom, whose name means I think rose tree. Or rose bush.
Rose bush.
He grew up in the time of the cartoon Hobbit, not the modern.
Right.
Yes,
Peter Jackson
it
Hobbit.
was. I think it was when we first moved to Holland, and I was like 4. And we went and
Wait, you
saw the
weren't born in Holland? Where were you born? Like Grand Rapids?
in this little town called Douglas.
Your dad had to
That
get out of
is,
Douglas.
yeah, it's near
In
near
Michigan?
Saugatuck. It's still
Saugatuck.
a Lake
Yeah, it's still
Michigan
there. Yeah.
coastal town.
It's
Allegheny
notorious
County.
for certain cultures.
Oh,
Saugatuck is for sure.
Douglas too, but
what,
less
like
so.
Not when I
Morehead
grew up
Poly
there.
Oh,
or
okay.
something?
When I grew up there, it was where the last bit of commercial fishermen
Oh,
and
wow.
trappers and sort lived.
I I think I saw Song of the South for the only time in my life at the Herrick
Ooh,
Library. Yeah,
wow.
I think so. Because I remember
Uh,
pretty
Pride of Disney.
visibly, because they had like folding chairs.
yeah.
Oof. And
uh,
separate white and black seating at the.
Pretty much. So we've got a sweater developed by the University of Maryland. It's covered in adversarial patterns. The story
Oh.
calls it an invisibility cloak against AI, and the video is actually just really neat. It's just a really tacky looking sweater.
Oh, I can't see the video. No, okay.
Yeah. It's just a really tacky looking pattern that kind of looks like people sitting at chairs and stuff. And they've got a demonstration of when you
There it
put
is.
it on, it loses its ability to register you as a human being.
Huh.
It reminded me actually of we've seen this similarly with makeup, where people
Yeah.
put on like Rorschach makeups and stuff to
Whoa,
defeat.
Isn't that just a picture of a room?
it's like a
I can't
picture of.
quite tell.
I think it's Baby Yoda. There in the middle. Yeah.
I mean, it kind of looks like that same space, but it doesn't really
Yeah.
matter. It's just a matter of it throws off the
Yeah, because it's looking for people.
right. And
Right,
so it's
right.
just throwing off the depth perception, I guess.
So if you just had a shirt with any group of people on it, it would work then, right?
It's like dazzle
Theoretically.
paint for
Yeah.
humans.
I mean, I don't think the sweater pattern itself is particularly important. The
Right.
point is just that you can do that sort of thing, and this is the state like that technique doesn't hold up if as soon as these algorithms are smart enough to take time into consideration, because you take 2 steps and somebody's gonna update the model to like, oh, that moved in the shape of a human. I got it now.
Yeah.
It's like how they every time you read about the self-driving cars banging into some new object, like, all right, well, we just got to drive past that object a couple 100,000 times until we figure it out.
Yeah.
So then we'll have to wear the sweater and walk on all fours. We'll have to bear walk everywhere to beat the cameras.
I'm in.
Bear walking is the best walking.
I'm in. Let's see. Are we Halloween movies? Barbarian, Rob. Holy cow.
Yes. Right?
Wow.
Was
What
it
a
good?
nice little surprise.
I don't want to talk about anything after
Oh.
when she gets into the doors at the Airbnb. But
Mhm.
the fact that Skarsgård was there was just like, oh no. And they just totally, I did not see anything coming. It was cool.
Yes, it takes a very unexpected turn.
And then like 7 more.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the
Oh,
most.
this is the Justin Long thing
Yeah.
they were talking about.
Well, that's the thing, is that he doesn't show up in the first part. So I didn't even know he was in it, because I had heard that I should watch it without spoilers. And so I didn't even know who was in it.
Yeah,
Except
because
I
I
knew
had seen the
Skarsgård was in it.
trailer. I had seen the trailer, and I just thought it was Justin Long's new movie. I'm like, that's a cute title.
No, don't even watch the trailer if you can avoid it. You don't want to know anything, because the fun is watching this movie take left turns. Like every 10-15 minutes.
Save it for later then. Oh.
And
Where is
again,
it?
without
Is it on Blumper? Where'd you?
Yeah, it's on Blumper.
yeah,
It's on
I watched it
HBO.
on Blumper.
Yeah.
Again, without spoilers, I really like the movie, but what made it one of my favorites is there is a scene in the middle there with such
Shut off my
an
headphones.
understated
Spoiled.
sort of I think the part that I like was a choice that the actor made, not something that was specifically written. But it is so perfectly horrifying that it, it fills me with glee just thinking about it right now. When we're done, I almost want to fast forward to that scene and watch it again because I like it so much.
I don't know if I can fast forward it because there's a couple parts of that that are difficult. And
That's
I don't
the fun.
know. Yeah. Fun.
Okay. I turned back on my headphones,
All right,
so I
we're
didn't
back.
hear any of that. Yeah.
We're back. Yeah. And then Bruce Willis was dead the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Turns out.
interesting.
Yep.
And he was his father.
That's right.
And the power was in her the whole time.
And
it was really the powers that she found along the Barbarian's way.
Yeah, and the journey was the destination.
And
the
I'm
friends
still
we
trying
made all
to.
along.
I'm still trying to figure out why the movie is called Barbarian.
Yeah, well, I have a theory. I'll tell you later.
Probably Germans.
I mean, maybe, but yeah, there are very few gulls or battle axes involved.
Nope.
Oh, okay. Not a single Hun that you could tell?
No.
Nope. Well, it kind of reminded me, I won't say anything. We'll talk later, Rob.
Right.
So my other Halloween movies for this weekend, I rewatched From Beyond, which I love. That's
I'm trying to remember which one that is.
That's
Johnny Depp?
No, that's all the people from Reanimator.
Yeah.
Because we watched Reanimator again a few weeks ago.
I really liked that movie when I was a kid.
I do too.
I haven't watched it in a long time.
But... it's funny.
Yeah.
From Beyond is not funny. Well, it's got some funny bits, but Reanimator is legit funny. Because it is so
got Jeffrey
aware.
Combs, though.
That's Combs, man. He's where it's at. That guy's a lucky charm for a lot of movies.
Our conversation a couple days ago led me to I got Slither queued up again because it's been long enough that I haven't seen Slither that I need to watch it again.
Elizabeth Banks is in that one, right?
Yeah,
I think she's the lead, the female lead.
The Showgirls? No, Elizabeth Banks.
Slither.
The scene in the barn for me in that movie is so fantastic.
James Gunn, man, he knows how to make a good movie.
He is a movie maker. It's true.
You should have you, Rob? I mentioned this last time. Did you ever see Super?
Mm-hmm.
That's another one that he did. That's just like, wow, like that's a man. You got a crazy sense of humor, man. I love it. We also watched. We showed my kids Scream, which was really fun.
Oh, that's a choice.
Well, it's a good movie for a kid who's starting out in horror movies because it's a movie that tells you the rules. It's explicitly clear about what's going on. It's very meta. And it was really fun.
All right.
I enjoyed it a lot. We have 6 minutes before our hard stop.
Hard stop.
What do we want to say about
we should
the
call
Elon Musk
our podcast that Hard Stop?
Hard Stop.
Malda.
Yep. A bunch of old guys talk about stuff that happened on the internet 30 years ago.
It's funny because Malda, I guess, means wish or desire.
Does it?
So it's like we're talking about Elon's wish to control the narrative with his people, with his followers, with his cult. I mean, his friends.
What a weird man.
It's so weird.
Like, this is one of those things, man. Because, so Trump created, I guess, a couple of different social platforms, and then we have Kanye theoretically buying Parler. But we've had other ones too. Like, it's a thing now where once oligarchs get to a certain
they got to buy something important. It was Carlos Slim with the New York Times.
Well, here's the
Bezos with Washington Post.
Exactly. Like, it used to be newspapers. You get to it used to be that you would. Well, I think there was a time where a newspaper was regarded as a thing to manipulate the world, and then I think there was a time where there were folks that honestly thought that buying a newspaper was a public good that you could try to do, and now we have this.
So what I'm hearing you say is that we need to start focus not necessarily on that billionaire, but that 100 millionaire, high hundreds, right? To buy out Geeks in Space so he can get sort of like a feel for what it's like when he's going to own a bigger social media
I don't know.
platform,
I think
right?
that if we're going with proportionality of users, monthly active users, we would probably sell to that kid who comes to Rob's house and trick or treats.
Gets the big bag of candy.
He's just about 16. He probably has enough money to buy Geeks in Space.
Probably his parents.
Deep influence. The deep influence of Geeks in Space.
Let's be honest. It was his parents would bankroll most of it.
How much would you sell Geeks in Space for, Malda?
I think you own it.
The oldest podcast on the internet.
I think you created
Yeah.
the YouTube channel. How about this? Our hard sell, it will be 3 million. We'll split it 3 ways and we'll go have a hell of a party.
Okay. That's the deal. But
Sure, but
only for now at our current subscriber level.
Right. Oh yeah, no, it's
As
just,
we escalate, it
Right.
should be like
right, as we grow.
3,
Yeah.
maybe. Are we talking about 3 million won, the Korean currency? Because
I don't,
Also-
well, and with the way inflation is going these days, $3 million in a few years might actually not be that much value.
Also, just so we're clear up front,
2,000 US dollars.
I'm not committing in the entire amount of my $1 million to our party.
Oh, okay.
Just so
Yeah,
you
yeah, no,
know.
for sure.
Yeah,
for
I mean,
sure.
Like
that's
it's
amazing.
gonna be nice, but
Yeah.
I don't know that we need a $3 million party.
No. We each throw like I don't know 10 somewhere between 10 20 grand in the pot, and we have now had the
Oh.
best Vegas weekend that the three of
Yeah,
us ever need.
That is a fantastic party.
Do we have to go to Vegas? Can we
No.
go literally anywhere else?
We can discuss
If
locations.
if we have like tens of thousands to blow, let's
Like-
go to like a better Vegas.
Yeah,
Alright.
like
or
Halifax.
Monaco, Halifax, Toronto.
So how about a nice fishing expedition where they give us all like
the Canadian
GI
Vegas.
Joe and Barbie
Yeah,
poles?
you know,
We go
where you
catch
can
some
go
catfish.
You can go and play roulette on a cod boat. That's what I want for
Yeah,
our
there you
Yeah.
party.
go.
All right, it'll be a fishing adventure. We'll get we'll go out for a yacht ride or something.
Right.
Somebody in this channel knows somebody who has a yacht. We could get a ride on their yacht, rent their yacht for a weekend.
Yachts are expensive.
Yeah, but that's why
you
you
need
let
about
somebody else pay for it, and then we just rent
You
it
need
for a
about
weekend.
depending
Yeah,
on how big,
right.
you're going to need about $250,000 to rent.
Yeah.
a
Well, there
yacht
was
for-
that
yacht for
Russian
yourself.
super yacht that was up for sale by the U.S. government.
Yeah, I don't want a
they
super
seized it.
yacht. I just want to go
Well,
for a
they're
ride
very
on
expensive.
one.
Yeah,
So let's see.
if you really want to buy an ex-Russian oligarch's super yacht,
You
'cause
know,
he might want it back.
for that amount of money, we could literally buy 300 pontoon boats, lash them all together, and just have a
Oh,
giant
That's
bar.
true.
from
That's a better
Snowcraft,
plan.
yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
better plan. And then we're done. We can sell off the unwanted boats and just keep like 20 or 30 of them for
Just
ourselves.
parts. Yeah.
Well, I feel like I should remind y'all that we only have now a minute and a half to talk about
Oh,
Elon Musk and Twitter.
Sorry.
Oh no.
We got distracted.
That's right. By lashing together a battalion of pontoon boats.
Yeah.
My
so-
favorite thing on the Elon thing right now is that
It's so
he's
funny.
having people print out 30 days of code for their meetings.
What?
And then you sit down
Yeah.
apparently with Tesla engineers to decide. So like if you own stock in Tesla, you're subsidizing Elon's research or his due diligence on this company that he doesn't have a due diligence.
I don't know. The first thing I saw was his tweet about how Pelosi deserved it or whatever that he had to take down. And like, well, maybe he was doing something skeevy.
Did you see all the follow-ups with pictures of Elon Musk and was it Ghislaine Maxwell with the
Yeah.
same caption? Like maybe there's
Just-
more to the story.
It's
Yeah.
just, yeah. I'll be interested to see what happens.
And,
Especially
and remember, we're talking about Twitter. Sad town, lonely town.
Sure, but
Depressing
used by
town.
every single reporter.
Reporter. Oh my god, yeah. No, if he screws it up, it's gonna make Google Reader look like nothing.
Yeah. Well,
You
this
know,
is
like-
where they all
like,
went.
He's destroying their favorite mode of communication. It's there's not going to be a single reporter who will not be upset. But here's the thing, guys. Where are they going to bitch?
That's
Facebook?
right. Mastodon.
Instagram, Mastodon, True
Google
Social?
Plus.
Please. I mean, it's like, where do they go?
Parlor.
Like, I mean, I have a lot of sympathy for him, but
Well, because
I-
Facebook's in a tailspin now
which-
too.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's really something. Well, I mean, Facebook, it's funny. I think the mood at Facebook is at least we're not Twitter.
Right? That's true. That's true.
It's very funny.
Yeah, well, we hit 11 o'clock, Chris.
Yeah.
All right.
Hard stop with Rob Mulder.
Goodbye, Chris
right.
Taboda.
Great seeing you guys.
Goodbye, Rob
See
Roseboom.
me too. I'll see you in a bit.
That's right. I was Rob Commander Tacomaldo and play the theme song only once on the way out. That was Geeks in
Aw.
Space. We'll see you Friday, maybe if you're lucky. Bye.
Yep. Friday.